Oh, what is going on in there? This does not look like a winning fight, but I'm all for it. It's a winning fight because I'm here. Hey guys, it's Smithu again. This time I'm bringing you a guide on all things Pocket. Trying to keep the video a bit more concise while still getting you the information you need. Things I'm going to cover in this video are strengths, weaknesses, everything to do with the abilities and their combos, including the upgrade paths, item recommendations, and some macro tips on the hero. Please like, subscribe, and leave in the comments down below what hero you'd like to see next. Thank you. Enjoy. Let's start off with Pocket's strengths and weaknesses. The first thing he's known for is his huge burst spirit damage. His combos work well together, allowing him to take out groups of enemies with just a few button presses. Pocket is a great laner, with good poke from Barrage, and his burst damage also starts off at very high base, making him very oppressive in the laning phase. His cloak gives him insane mobility. He can use it to escape, and he can use it to engage. Another reason he's good in lane is his shotgun. His shotgun is great for CS and poke at the same time. The fast projectiles allow him to shoot souls basically on reaction and no need to pre-fire. The last strength I want to bring up is his Enchanter's Satchel. He can use this like an ethereal shift. When he's in his satchel, he is completely untargetable and you cannot damage him, allowing him to escape most ults in the game by using this ability. Weaknesses. Pocket is squishy. He starts with a negative 15% spirit resist and he also gets pretty low health per level up. Another weakness can go hand in hand with his strength, being that his suitcase and his cloak, you will have to make a choice between using it as an escape or using it as damage. If you use it too hastily, you may end up being caught out of position and killed since you're so squishy. Another thing that you could look at as a strength or a weakness, but in this case I'll put it as a weakness, is that Pocket has a very high skill ceiling. His combos are not straightforward and he can be very easily caught in the wrong place. Let's go into Pocket's abilities. First, we have Barrage. Barrage fires 4 projectiles. Each projectile hitting will grant you a 7% damage amp stack to all of Pocket's damage for 15 seconds. These projectiles will also apply a 40% movement slow for 1.5 seconds. The first talent of this ability is adding 15 damage per projectile. The second talent reduces the cooldown by 15 seconds. And the third talent increases the damage amp by 5% per stack, making it 12% per stack. This is Pocket's opener to make sure everything that comes after, the satchel, the cloak, bullets, etc. are all buffed by the damage amp from Barrage. Pocket's next ability is his 2, the Flying Cloak. You'll send out a cloak in front of you that travels in one direction. You can press the ability bind again to travel to it. During its travel time, any enemies it hits will suffer spirit damage in a burst. The first talent of this ability reduces its cooldown by 15 seconds. The second talent of the ability increases its damage by 80, making it huge burst. The third talent of the ability gives you a +7 damage buff for 10 seconds after teleporting to the cloak. Pocket's 3, the Enchanter's Satchel. Pocket will escape into a suitcase. During this escape duration, he is immune to all damage and immune to targeting. This can be used to escape all ultimates in the game and many other abilities. When the duration ends, or when you cancel it, you will deal explosion of spirit damage. This is again huge burst, just like the cloak. The first talent of the ability reduces the cooldown by 5 seconds. The second talent is a +80 damage, just like on the cloak. And the third talent applies a 40% fire rate slow for 4 seconds to enemies hit by the satchel. Pocket's fourth and final ability is his ultimate, called Affliction. This is a huge AoE that will apply a dot to all enemies nearby. The damage is non-lethal, but will put people to 1 HP. It also does not apply item procs, so it will not build up things like escalating exposure. However, it will lifesteal for you, so if you build a lot of spirit lifesteal, Affliction becomes really powerful for sustain. It also scales off spirit power still, so it can reach crazy damage. The first talent is a -30 seconds cooldown. The second talent suppresses target's healing by 60%, and the third talent is a +27 to the base DPS. Now let's move on to Pocket's upgrade path. I like to start with 2 points in Barrage. Getting the cooldown this early in the game makes you extremely oppressive in lane and keeps you poking, also keeping your damage amp up as much as possible. Then I go on to 2 points in the cloak to get the cooldown and the damage. Again, just making my combo stronger. After Barrage, I'll now have a stronger cloak to follow up with that is also amped. Here we move to 2 points into Satchel. Exact same reasons as the cloak. you want the cooldown and you want the damage. Now your combo is at its max potential. Back to Barrage for one more point. Now we get a more buffed damage amp, an extra 5% of damage amp per projectile that hits. This is going to be a huge power spike for Pocket, and you'll be able to take people down just as easy as if they had never scaled. Then we move over to Affliction for the first point and 2 more consecutive points. Affliction wants to be max upgraded here because the other 2 points in Satchel and Cloak are not that important, and Affliction is extremely important for team fights. Then we move to Satchel and get the final point. The fire rate slow can be pretty huge in team fights, so again, just helping us with the team fight narrative. Now, the last point goes to Flying Cloak. That's because the way I play Pocket, and the way I believe is the most efficient way to play Pocket, doesn't really rely on weapon damage, so this talent is pretty ignorable. Now, I would like to say, if you don't want to go for the poke approach, you can just get the 1 point in Barrage to start with to increase its damage, and then go straight into the 2 points in Enchanter's Satchel and Cloak, and then come back to Barrage for its cooldown. So now let's get straight into Pocket's combos. First off, I want to talk about meleeing during Barrage. This is an extremely powerful tool, not the easiest to pull off, but once you get the timing down, you should be able to do it every time. As soon as you press Barrage, you just start heavy meleeing. Just tap 1, or in my case, tap Q, and then hold heavy melee. This can be used very aggressively in lane, as Barrage already makes you float and carry your momentum. So you can actually use the heavy melee to go even further. The next combo is throwing out your cloak, going into suitcase, and teleporting while you're still in the suitcase. What this does is explodes the suitcase when you leave the cloak, dealing huge burst damage to an AoE, or just a single target. You can combine all of these together, and it will look something like this. And this is huge damage, definitely going to kill someone in lane. The last thing I want to talk about is Enchanter's Satchel. With the Satchel, you can actually shoot to cancel it, and it will pop a bullet. Later in the game, an advanced combo you can do that will be very hard to get used to is Majestic Leap Up, Barrage for your amps, Cloak away for safety, drop down, ult, TP away. This is a good way to get a full ult on the team while still being basically safe yourself the whole time. Now let's talk about some item recommendations I have for Pocket. This is not a full build, but it's items you will see in almost every Pocket build. Items that contribute to his kit greatly. Starting out with early/lane, we have Mystic Shot. Mystic Shot will provide burst damage on 1 shot every, I believe, 7 seconds. This is also going to be amped by your damage amp on Barrage, making it huge burst and poke in lane. Mystic Burst. This is going to add 35 damage to any spirit damage you do that meets the threshold, which is pretty much everything on Pocket, every 6 seconds, and it also upgrades into improved burst later. Enduring Spirit. Enduring Spirit is great for Pocket because he does really well with Spirit Lifesteal, he needs the extra health, and he benefits from the Spirit Power. Now we have some important items for Pocket to look at. The before mentioned Improved Burst, the upgrade of Mystic Burst. This will deal an additional 10% of an enemy's health bar as damage whenever you meet the damage threshold with spirit damage, which is again going to be pretty much all the time doing anything on Pocket. Spirit Lifesteal. Spirit Lifesteal follows the same sort of idea as Enduring Spirit. Pocket just does well with Spirit Lifesteal since his spirit damage is so high and it's his main source. Now we move on to Improved Cooldown. Pocket's cooldowns are pretty low, but he also relies on them for escape and damage at the same time. So getting these cooldowns even lower is absolutely something you want to be doing, and it will increase your power for sure. Mystic Vulnerability. This item is going to reduce enemies' resistances to spirit damage by 12% just by hitting them with spirit. Pocket has such potent combos, and his Barrage opener fires 4 projectiles that you're going to get huge value from this item. Only the first projectile of Barrage is going to proc this, and then all subsequent damage is going to benefit from its effect. Moving into some good endgame items for Pocket's kit, we have Diviner's Kevlar. This is my favorite endgame item for Pocket. Upon casting his ultimate, it will give you a 700 bullet shield and a 700 spirit shield, along with 40 spirit power for 15 seconds. This is amazing for Pocket as he will lifesteal from his ultimate's damage, and the shields allow him to just generate health while the enemies try and kill him through his shields. It also comes with plus 20% spirit lifesteal and plus 12% cooldown reduction as stats, both very good for Pocket. The next item we have is Leech. Again, following the theme of Spirit Lifesteal. Going into endgame, Pocket's ult, if he hits it on a few of the enemy team, is going to keep him live for the entire duration. This also gives you some spirit power and some bonus health, along with some weapon damage. You can't complain at all. Now we're going to start improving on Pocket's squishiness. He starts with minus 15% spirit resist, so we're going to get him improved spirit armor. This is going to help your survivability huge late game and allow you to lifesteal more consistently. Now we move on to some other great items for Pocket. Not necessarily must picks, but more things you'll pick depending on your situation. First off, we have Ethereal Shift. This item works like Pocket's suitcase. It's an escape. You are immune to damage and immune to targeting during its duration. This can help when you do not have your escape up and you're stuck in a tricky situation. Because your cooldowns are so short, you can go into Ethereal Shift, and once you come out, you'll have healed from your Spirit Lifesteal, from your ult if you've applied it, and your cooldowns will be ready to use again. Then we have Soul Shredder Bullets. Soul Shredder Bullets is great for any spirit damage dealer. It amps your spirit damage just by shooting people and gives you an extra 20% lifesteal. Healing Booster. Healing Booster is something you want to buy if you're suffering a lot of healing reduction debuffs from the enemy team. This reduces the reduction by 15%, allowing you to heal more consistently and also giving you an overall 25% boost to all healing sources. Finally, we have Silence Glyph. Silence Glyph is a very potent ability on Pocket. It will deal burst damage, proccing improved burst probably, at the same time as disabling all abilities from the opponent hit, allowing you to land your combo with the opponent having no answers. Lastly, I want to talk about how Pocket likes to play the game and some macro tips. Pocket, with his combo, is a very efficient ganker. He has huge mobility with his cloak, his barrage gives him a damage amp, and everything works together to kill people very fast. Pocket likes to go from lane to lane early on and try to one-shot people for his teammates. Anyone out of position is not safe from Pocket. He will kill them. The second thing Pocket is very efficient at is jungling, specifically tier 1 and tier 2 camps. With a well-placed cloak and a satchel in the middle of the camp, you will almost kill everything there, if not leave it all one-shot and be able to clear them with very high efficiency. It's not until Pocket gets around 15 to 16k where he can efficiently clear tier 3 camps. Pocket is absolutely instrumental for his team in teamfights. His ultimate can hit multiple enemies at once and force them to back off or risk dying, and all of his abilities are AoE damage in a massive burst. He is a very, very scary hero to fight against in a team fight, as he can literally destroy your entire team. Base defense is incredibly strong for Pocket. The reason being, his cooldowns are short, so if he messes up, he can just go in spawn, heal back up, and try again in a few seconds. And when he lands a good ult, it will force the whole enemy team to stop attacking, or they will die to your team. So guys, thank you for watching my guide on Pocket. I hope it was a little more concise than the Infernus video, while still managing to get the point across. I will be coming out with a build video on a full build that I actually use in-game. In the meantime, if you want to watch, please stop by my Twitch at Smifu. Thank you and goodbye.